Hello football fans and welcome along to another Our Passion is Football video. Today we'll be looking at the downfall of one of the world's greatest clubs, Manchester United. So sit back and enjoy, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Arriving at Manchester United in 1986, Sir Alex Ferguson was a seasoned manager up in his native Scotland, but had never cut his teeth into English football. Fans at the time would have never thought he would go on to become one of the greatest managerial figures of all time. At his previous club, Aberdeen, Sir Alex won 3 league titles in an era where no other club had won the title for 15 years other than Glasgow Giants, Celtic and Rangers. His managerial pedigree was clear from the get-go, but it takes a lot more than that. Throughout his long tenure are well documented. What isn't well documented is the fact it took him 4 years to win his first major trophy at Manchester United, a stat that shows just how long the Ferguson rebuild actually took. In the 90s, the full force of the Ferguson effect began. Players like Eric Cantona and Peter Schmeichel arrived at the club, transforming them into a side of world beaters that dominated the league year after year. The Red Devils won 6 out of a possible 10 Premier League titles in that decade and ended the 1998 to 1999 season with a legendary domestic treble, winning the FA Cup, Premier League and UEFA Champions League in heroic style. It was in this decade that Ferguson brought through his first successful group of academy players. The infamous class of '92 included the likes of David Beckham, the Neville brothers, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs. This group of talented youngsters were a key part of the treble-winning side and all went on to become legends at Manchester United, with Scholes and Giggs playing all the way through after they were part of the class of '92's FA Cup youth win. Talk about a legacy. The early 2000s saw Arsenal and recently cash-rich Chelsea fight with Manchester United for all the domestic honours, and with Manchester United coming into the 21st century with an ageing squad, Ferguson started yet another squad rebuild. Prolific goal scorers such as Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole were moved on, and Sir Alex built a new team around long-serving players Roy Keane, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes and Gary Neville. Youth products Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher and John O'Shea were promoted to full-time first-team duties to strengthen the squad. Ferguson was in 2001. The Netherlands international became a prolific goal-scoring machine during his time with the Red Devils. By 2002, it had become clear that Manchester United was still in need of a central defender, and Sir Alex broke the British transfer record to bring in England international Rio Ferdinand in a bid to maintain their status as the best team in the country. They won the Premier League in the 2002-03 season, taking back the title from Arsenal, who had won it in the season before. However, it wouldn't be for another 4 seasons that Manchester United would lift the coveted league title again. In the years that followed, United continued their search for world-class talents that would see them replicate the dominant force they had become in the 90s. By 2006, they had signed Nemanja Vidic, Patrice Evra, Michael Carrick and of course, Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo. It was the partnership of Rooney and Ronaldo that fired them to the league title in 2006-07, and they finally ended Chelsea's reign as the best club in England. It was at this stage Ferguson began to realise that he may have the talent at his disposal to mount a charge for another coveted Champions League trophy. In the 2007-08 season, that ever-elusive second Champions League trophy finally belonged to Sir Alex Ferguson. His side had claimed a second of 3 consecutive league titles that year, and on a famous night in Moscow, they beat rivals Chelsea in the Champions League final to become one of the best teams of all time, often compared to the famous United squad that had won the treble under Ferguson just 9 years earlier. It was such an exciting side, consisting of South American talents such as Carlos Tevez and Anderson, English stars Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand, and South Korean hero Park Ji-sung. Ferguson had come a long way since arriving at the club way back in 1986 and had demonstrated how easily he could adapt to the ever-changing world that is football. In the final years of Ferguson's reign, he continued to battle Chelsea and new contenders and local rivals Manchester City for the Premier League. In his final 4 seasons, he was successful twice, including a title victory in his final season as Manchester United manager in the 2012-13 season. With 38 trophies in just 26 years, Sir Alex bowed out with one of the most successful and longest spells at a club ever, and will go down as a legend of the game. With Ferguson leaving his successor David Moyes with a squad that were Premier League winners, how did it all go so wrong? Why was that the last title Manchester United had ever won? Successful managers such as Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho did win trophies at the club, but neither could bring the Premier League back to Old Trafford, and the club has often struggled to qualify for the Champions League, let alone compete in it. The club has continued Ferguson's legacy of bringing through youth players, with Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard and more recently Anthony Elanga becoming integral parts of the Manchester United squad. I believe that the cutthroat merry-go-round that is the Manchester United manager's seat has become a job where if you are not instantly successful, then you are booted out of the door. Managers such as Jose Mourinho should have been given more time to build a formidable squad and given the same amount of power Sir Alex famously had during his reign. Ferguson was allowed to rebuild his squad several times over his era, and was given the time during each rebuild to ensure the team was ready to compete for trophies in the foreseeable future. United seem to have lost this philosophy that made them the titans of Europe in England, and they seem more interested in bringing in mercenary players that should make an instant impact rather than investing in players they can nurture and train over time. Now entering the Erik ten Hag era, could this be the manager the board finally allowed to build a team that could challenge for the title in a few seasons? With players that represent the post-Ferguson era, such as Paul Pogba and Juan Mata leaving, it's as good a time as any for the Red Devils to invest in the talents for the future, and not just for today. They should learn from their downfall, pick themselves up, and remind the rest of the league of the power they have as a club. If Erik ten Hag can build a team similar to the one he had at Ajax, they will do well. His mixture of youth and veteran players he had at the Dutch Giants is like the one he has inherited at Manchester United, with Elanga and Sancho mixing well with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Raphael Varane. If Ten Hag can improve on this, then he may be onto something special. That's all we have time for tonight, football fans, but don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know in the comment section down below, how do you think Manchester United can rise again, and we'll see you next time for more on Our Passion is Football.